Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar about managing risk while maintaining quality care with a person-centred focus. This is an important topic which we can see is reflected in our diverse audience of service providers joining us today from both Australia and New Zealand. Thank you so much for being here. Today's session will be facilitated by Chris Tanner, Aspirico's Market Development Director, myself, Chanel Blair, Business Development Lead for the Australian and New Zealand market. The Aspirico logo strapline is all about achieving life's potential, and our focus is on creating systems that allow providers to help people they support on this journey. In particular, Chris will focus on how systems can be used to support management of risk in the sector in a way that focuses on maximising potential in a safe manner. In this way, people can be supported to achieve outcomes and realise their ambitions whilst ensuring services are delivered in a quality manner. This has benefits for everyone, including the funder, the regulator, the provider, the carers, and the person themselves. It is also central to our values and design philosophy at Aspirico. Before I hand over to Chris, we have a few slides to explain who we are at Aspirico, how our platform iPlanet offers the most configurable person-centred CRM system. The slide introduction will take 7 to 10 minutes, which allows 20 for the system demonstration. We will then show how we will help you move the dial to ensure risks are individually managed as not one size fits all. Chris will then examine risk averse versus risk aware and how personalised risk management enriches people supported. He will then access iPlanet and provide you with a snapshot of how the system has been developed to provide individualised risk management. Aspirico launched iPlanet in 2011, following an international research and design program to create a software system built around the person supported. iPlanet was launched with key New Zealand providers in 2015, and we have a regional team in Australia and New Zealand supporting a growing provider community, including some of the largest regional and national providers. In 2017, we partnered with the NDS to launch in the Australian market, and we've continued to invest heavily in tailoring the product to meet the needs of the Australian and New Zealand markets. Our customers now include a wide range of community and disability service providers, from 50 to 20,000 people supported. We have developed iPlanet in a co-design partnership approach with our customers. The platform is a unified solution, all developed in-house without third-party products, which enables it to be highly configurable and cost-effective. We're now on version 6 with the product installed in thousands of services worldwide and with a growing roadmap of 12 optional modules available. Our client management teams are predominantly made up of health and sector professionals, bringing a wealth of expertise and experience together to understand our customers' needs. Your dedicated client manager works with you to configure, implement, train, and roll out your new system. We offer a hands-on support service, which is unmatched in the sector, with your client manager readily accessible to ensure you get the best out of your system. It also includes regular best practice clinics, an online training centre, and a locally managed 24/7 support desk conveniently available over multiple channels. Aspirico's unique approach to developing and working in partnership with our customers is always underpinned by our values. The Aspirico values are summarised by EVITA: evidencing value, inclusion, transparency, and accountability. These values underpin everything we do. They direct our approach to our product development roadmap, our investments in support, customer service, and our consulting services. They also resonate with provider and funder values across the sector. I will now hand over to Chris, who has worked with many of our larger clients as they evolve from a risk-averse perspective to a risk-aware. Chris has significant operational experience in the sector and brings a passion for personalisation to his work. Thank you for joining us, Chris. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Chanel, and thanks for having me on. So following on from what Chanel said about how we develop the product, why the company exists, what we're trying to achieve, I think is really important in setting the scene in the context of what we're discussing today. So the development of iPlanet has always been with the goal of moving the dial. So what we mean by that is to move away from traditional time and task-based planning, where the sector's kind of moved on to more person-centred planning in all of our markets, and here in the UK and Ireland, but also Australia and New Zealand, but also to take it that next step one step further. To put that in, to explain a little more, traditional time and task approaches would be generic. You'd have a menu of care services or support services that someone could choose from. They were institutional, so they were provider-centric. The way services were delivered were built around the person delivering. They tended to be very deficit-based. I know when I first entered the market, when I first entered the sector 15 years ago, you start off saying what someone can't do. We were very much, and then it's very input-focused. Whether it was you were measuring how good your service was by how much time you were spending or what you were doing as a provider. So we've moved on to a sort of more person-centered approach. So support planning now is much more personalised around the person. It's not just a generic service that everyone gets. We've moved away from being provider-centric and actually focusing on helping people to become more independent. And we've moved from that idea of looking at what people can't do and looking at people, looking at people's strengths, what they can do, and building on those. And really, it's moving away from input and looking at outcomes. So and we tend to describe it as moving on from input to impact. Now, what iPlanning wants to do, and something I'm very passionate about myself, is take that one step further, going beyond personalised care and support to self-directed. So actual inclusion, letting the person who's receiving that service direct how they want that service to look and what they want to achieve with it. To go away, to move one step beyond just being independence orientated to relationship orientated, whether that relationship is with their supporters, whether it's with their circle of support, their family and friends, whether it's their local community, whether it's their relationship with education and work settings. It's that next step going beyond independence. And a really key one for us really is the most important part of moving that dial is going from a strength-based approach to actually looking at a potential-based approach. So rather than looking at what someone can do, it's looking at what someone could do, what they can be, unleashing all of that potential. And what that really brings together is a much more quality of life focused service. Now, today we're going to be looking at one particular part, and that is that traditional approach was often very risk averse. We've tried to develop that to be more risk aware. And what we're going to be talking about, and what I'm going to show you on the system, is the difference between being risk aware and personalized risk management, integrated risk management. So just to start off with what we mean, or what I mean by being risk averse or being risk aware. So the traditional approach in that sort of time and task, in the old days, is you would start with a risk assessment. You would then build in your control measures. So you'd assess the risk for that person. Again, we're basing that normally on a deficit-based approach. We're looking at what can't they do. And all of the things will be too risky. And then you put your control measures in, that then informs your support planning. And then that would ultimately lead to some outcomes. But what you're actually doing, that approach actually puts barriers in. You're breaking that chain. If you start off with deciding what someone can't do, you're immediately reducing the number of outcomes that they can achieve. Your control measures then become inherently restrictive. That then feeds into your support planning. So at each step along this process, you're reducing someone's potential effectively. You're reducing the possibility of the most suitable outcomes and the most desired outcomes. So a risk-aware approach flips that on its head. You start off with what someone wants to do. You start off with the idea that someone wants to achieve certain things, and those are outcomes. Whether they're a goal outcome, it could be a health outcome, it could be a prevention outcome, a maintenance outcome, whatever they may be. You look at what the person wants to do, what they can do. You then build your support plan around that. And then once you've established how you're going to support someone achieve those outcomes, how they want to be supported, you then assess the risk involved with that and building the control measures. But you've already decided what the person can and wants to do. So you're flipping it on its head and you're becoming much more risk aware, and it's far less restrictive. So what we're going to have a look today is within iPlanning, how personalized risk management makes a real difference. So within iPlanet and within the theory behind personalized risk management is that for the participant, for the service user, for the persons being supported, risk management is specific to them, it's specific to their support plan, and it's specific to the outcomes that they want to achieve. So it's actually person-centered risk management effectively. For the provider, this means your service will remain person-centered and outcome-focused, which is really, really hard to do as soon as you start putting restrictions around it. And I understand fully then a lot of that is based on commissioning and regulatory frameworks. But by doing it in a personalised way, we can make sure that you keep that person-centred, outcome-focused approach. But whilst at the same time, your support can still be planned and delivered safely. Over the longer term, this prevents incidents and accidents, which, prevention is better than cure, as they say. And also, you can maintain compliance and you can evidence that compliance with your regulatory framework. So, NDIS Code of Conduct in Australia, Ministry of Health frameworks in New Zealand. But overall, it promotes a culture of positive risk taking. Positive risk taking, this is a term we use a lot in the UK, but it's anything in life that's worth doing. There's always an element of risk. I mean, every time if you want to go and travel and see the world, you want to learn a new skill, you want to go skydiving, you want to go and make new friends, all of these things. There's always an element of risk in, but the rewards for them outweigh that risk. And so, who are we to say that the people supported don't have that same approach? So really, by promoting that culture of positive risk taking, then we're helping people to achieve life's potential, which is really what Aspirico set out to do from the beginning. For those of you who aren't familiar with the system, as Chanel said, we've developed the system over the years with our customers. Since version 1.1, it's been designed with the sector. It's web native, so it's accessible from any internet-enabled device. And you can just see on that little screenshot there how it renders down onto a phone. It knows it's on a phone. It will know if it's being used on a tablet. Today's demonstration, I'll be using a desktop just because it's a little bit clearer when we're in a webinar format. The system itself is modular, so that means you can build the system to meet your needs. So every iPlanning system starts with the core modules that you can see in the top half of the screen there. And then there are a range of optional modules that you can add to the system depending on the type of service that you run. And also, it helps you grow. You can grow. The system can grow as your organisation develops and changes. But today we're going to be focusing on the integrated risk management element. It will encompass a little bit of outcomes. We'll have a look at personalised plans. But what I will say, we're only taking a look at a small slice today just because of the subject. And to go through the whole system, we'd be here for another good few hours just to show you all of the functionality.
Thank you so much, Chris. So today we've focused in on a small part of the iPlanet suite in the area of risk management and personal plans, as Chris has just mentioned. A number of you will also be aware that iPlanet offers a much wider suite of functionality that handles the full service lifestyle from intake through to exit review. We do this for hundreds of thousands of people across Australia, New Zealand and internationally. Should you be interested in hearing more for your organisation, please feel free to email me at cblair@aspirico.com or get in touch via our website. We do welcome further questions, so please refer to our contact details here. Thank you all very much for taking time to attend today's webinar. We hope to see you at our next one. Take care.